Welcome to KeyLadder's discussion about earning the highest rents possible. We'll go through this rather briefly, but we'll talk about why you should get more rents than another property owner. So, high rents, why not? Well, you can work hard or you can work smart. And we're going to talk to you about working smart here. There are always a range of rents in all market areas. Two buildings side by side can have different rents. Sometimes that's because the rent was raised in one building and it wasn't raised in the other building for another year. But what we're talking about here are just different owners who believe that their properties are worth more or less money. So owners that achieve the highest rents do some things that those who receive the lowest rents do not understand or don't care about. Consider the same space, a two-bedroom, two-bath, or two-bedroom, one-bath condo. One condo is getting $900 a month, and the other condo is getting $450 a month. So what's the secret? Well, let's cover a few key points first, and we'll discuss this. One of those secrets is that the building is probably more maintained or better maintained than a building that's getting to $450. So the $900 building probably looks better. It has a better curb appeal than the $450 building. And the inside of the buildings, the $900 one, more than likely, has better appointed inside. So the owner of the $900 a month apartment decided to spend a few more dollars and upgrade the quality of some key items that people see when they first walk in the door, flooring being one. So I'll give you an example. Right now, there is a trend toward this type of flooring that is snapped together wood look with a gray appearance to it. That costs a little bit more than the same type of look in sheet linoleum, for example. So putting that in will be noticed as opposed to the other. The other looks clean if it's put in, obviously, as opposed to, say, broken tiles or former carpet. But you can go just a little bit higher and get a little bit better quality. The same thing with kitchen countertops. You can get the smooth plastic type countertops, or you can go with some type of a low cost stone countertop. Now the stone countertops will probably last a lot longer, so that's a benefit. They will look better and you'll get more rent. So in some cases you can actually do a cost benefit analysis on some of the improvements you're going to make. So well-maintained curb appeal and well-appointed interiors are important to people. That's why they pay more. Screen perspective tenants. This is also a reason that you can get more money. You have to have good tenants in all your units. If this is a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex, for example, you can't have a tenant in there that is not taking care of their property, that is sloppy, parks their car on the grass, that type of thing. You want all of the tenants to feel that they are living and fit in with the other tenants. Asking for more. Prospective tenants know if you're discriminating if you ask for more. And when we talk about discriminating here, it's not on race, it's not on anything like that. It means that people economically like to live with other people who are earning about the same amount of money, who have the same values. So when you pick someone who is making more money to afford the 900 versus someone at 450, typically things like their car will be a little bit nicer, their clothing will be a little bit nicer, and that's what people like to live among other people who have similar lifestyles. That's what this is. So they're going to look to see what other tenants are in the property. Agreement. Make sure that the tenant rules are in the agreement or attached to the agreement. Spell out all of the details. Leave no doubt about what you mean to say. You want good tenants who will appreciate other tenants, who will follow the rules, and make sure that the rules are enforced. Because if you have a tenant, for example, who is playing loud music and you're not enforcing the rules, instead of losing the tenant with the loud music playing, you're likely to lose the better tenant who always pays you on time and will have no problem with that next rent increase. Curb appeal. I can't mention this too much. I'm bringing this up again. Not using this photo per se to say this, but this photo looks pretty clean. There's a few scattered things on the second landing that probably should be removed, but nevertheless, it's not messy and sloppy, and the building is painted and it's in good condition. That's the first thing that someone will see when they come over to take a look at your unit for rent. Advertise the benefits. Hit the highlights. New flooring. There's a coffee shop nearby. Appeal to the demographic that you intend to attract. For example, if you're renting in the $1,200 or $2,000 range, appeal to that demographic as opposed to the demographic at the $800 or $900 range. Are you looking for young couples? Are you looking for single people? Talk about the things that that demographic likes to have around those properties that you have. This one is a picture, for example, of a single family home. So that means more than likely you're going to rent this to a family. So you want to talk about the schools, you want to talk about the parks, those kinds of things in the area. If you're renting a condo in a busy area, you want to talk about the restaurants and the nightlife and those kinds of things. Rent increase. There's always going to be a rent increase for a good landlord. The problem with some of the landlords at the lower rates is that they didn't raise the rent when they should have, and that's more difficult to raise it and keep the same tenants in. So they're worried about losing the tenants, and they don't raise the rent. You need to let your new tenants know that there will be a rent increase on an annual basis, and you're going to keep that to the minimum. You need to recover inflationary costs such as property taxes and insurance. Those costs go up every year, so you're going to raise the rent by those costs, and that should be understood by the people who are leasing from you, because you're also going to explain that you are not the type of landlord that comes back in and says, I want to raise the rent today because I just went out and bought a new water heater, for example. So you can give them some updates. Let's say you're going to raise the rent every January. So when January comes around, say 90 days in advance, you want to give them some notice. You might want to announce to them that you're going to do something for the property, such as giving them some LED bulbs. Whatever you do for this, it should be something that improves not only their lot, but the property itself. So it might be time to replace a refrigerator. It's been a long time out there, and you know you have to replace it. So plan on replacing that refrigerator around the time that you're going to have the rent increase. That encourages tenants to stay because you're using that additional amount of money, even though you have planned and saved for it in the past, to improve their property. Tenants want to stay, so let them know your plans for a long term. Back in the day when people were short selling their properties, it was hard for tenants to know whether they were going to have a place to live the next day. So it's good to let the tenants know that you are buying and holding the property, if that in fact is the case. In conclusion, make more money the easy way. Keep your property looking good. We can talk about this for hours, but that's the important thing. The property has to look good, it has to function well, and then you also have to believe fully that the rent that you're going to be charging is the right thing to do. At $900 or $925, you have to have confidence when you speak to the tenants about this and let them know that this is what you need, and you're going to be upfront with them every year about this. So thank you for listening. Please spend some time on our website and take our free introductory course into residential rental property. And you can also take our other KeyLadder courses by going to our KeyLadder education section that you can reach on the main menu. Thank you.